everyone, my name is Chandler Colton and I am doing a presentation on the rule of thirds in packaging around the world. So for an introduction, the general concept of the rule of thirds in photography and in design is to place an imaginary grid on your design space and place important objects on the line intersections. These intersections catch the most immediate attention but vary by intersection. So as you can see in this example, 41% of people look at this intersection first, followed by this one, followed by this one, followed by this one. Framing or cropping your photograph to satisfy the rule of thirds can enrich the picture and make the observer see it in a whole new light. So for example, this is the picture before. Everything's pretty symmetrical and centered. There's not much to the picture, not very eye-catching. And this is after, and this is just a much more satisfying picture, much better. So my hypothesis is that exploring new packaging designs and graphics will prove or disprove this theory, that the rule of thirds has withstood time and is a concept that is still used in all areas of the world. My first example is this green vegetable soup that is made in France, and it was released in July 2012, and all of these examples are from the Mintel database. So as you can see, I've added a grid to the package, and the veggies are the main focal point of the package and are centered over the grid intersection to draw attention to them. And the name of the soup, it starts at the top intersection for attention as well. So I'm going to go a little quickly through these. Here are wheat flake cereal, and these are made in India and satisfy the rule of thirds. These are dark chocolate brownies made in Venezuela. A garden snack mix made in India. This is a chicken vegetable soup in a cup, and this really satisfies the rule of thirds. As you can see, the image of the vegetable soup in the cup is centered over the bottom right grid intersection, and the name of the product, chicken and vegetable soup in a cup, is centered directly over the top grid line. This is a product that is made in Japan. Here is a gluten-free cupcake mix made in Australia. Product cheeseburgers from France. And all of these products have been released in June or July of this year. They are all new products. Some cornflakes from Mexico. This I had to turn so you could see it, but this is a Soyesta caramel soy dessert, and the name of the product is centered over the, depending on how you look at it, the bottom left grid intersection. Dessert snack from Mexico, and as you can see, just having this not all be symmetrical and centered, like the image of the chocolates off to the side, just makes the package much more appealing. Artificial sweetener in Japan. Popsicles from France. Vegetable meat dish from Spain. Rice from the United Kingdom. Pudding from Poland. Chocolate bars from the Netherlands. And the window is directly over the bottom right grid intersection, which draws attention to the package, and you can see what exactly the chocolate bar is. So those were some examples of the rule of thirds in global food and beverage packaging. In some products, however, this is not as common. Here are some examples of packaging not following the rule of thirds. These examples will show the difference between packages that use the technique and packages that don't. So here are some rangoons made in the US. And you can see everything's pretty symmetrical and centered, and even though the name is over the top grid line, it's still, everything is completely centered, and it doesn't really show any artisticness in the package, and it just kind of looks like everything else. It's not eye-catching. These olives for Argentina are centered as well. This DiGiorno pizza is centered from the US. This basil product from the United Kingdom, all very symmetrical. Yogurt made in the US. Liquid sweetener from Brazil. There's a yogurt from the US and a barbecue sauce from the US, and everything is centered right down the package. So those are examples of packaging not following the rule of thirds, and this does not necessarily disprove my hypothesis. The previous examples, along with following examples, prove that packaging around the world does follow this rule of thirds technique, and not all of it obviously, but a significant amount. So here are some more examples. I'm going to go a little quickly. Some popsicles from Spain. Soup mix from the US. Potato snack from the US. And all of these packages you can just see are just much more interesting, and I think that consumers would more likely grab these off the shelf than the symmetrical, centered, more boring ones. These are some hamburgers from Sweden. Chicken from Egypt. Chips from Taiwan. Granola bar from the US. Fish fillets from the United Kingdom. A braised beef with rice dish from China. And an edamame chip snack from Hong Kong. Seasoning from Germany. Cereal from India. Dessert from Argentina. Cookies from China. A chip snack from the Netherlands. I'm sure y'all have noticed a pattern. It's just continuous throughout all these different types of packages, and it's not just one specific type of package, it's all different types. This is a baby food made in the US. Soy patties made in India. This veggie mix made in the UK. A frozen fruit made in Indonesia. Granola bar from Indonesia as well. I keep on saying made in Indonesia. I mean that they are sold in Indonesia and all the other countries. So these examples have proved my hypothesis, showing that the rule of thirds is used in packaging all over the world. Everywhere from the US to China to Indonesia to Germany to Brazil and in between. This technique has lasted and is proved successful. So a little more history about the rule of thirds. It ties back in history with the golden ratio and the Fibonacci sequence, which are also designs found in nature and are used in product development today. So the golden ratio relates to the Fibonacci sequence, which is 1, 1, 2, 3, 5, 8, 13, 21, etc. The next number is the addition of the two numbers before it. If you take any of these numbers, within it is 0.6. The rule of thirds is that the design should be 1/3 against 2/3 on the placement of the images. If you place the image below, illustrating the Fibonacci sequence, over the gridded lines, it lines up. An article states, to be utterly technical, the spiral doesn't exactly line up to the rule of thirds, but it is the easiest way to apply it to art. These rules closely related to what is seen in nature, proving that images placed in 1/3 are generally more appealing than being randomly placed or centered. So some other interesting facts is that this is one of the most popular rules in the composition of photographs, painting, and design. And as with most rules, the rule of thirds does not apply to everything and sometimes should be broken. It is made to add more interest to a painting, photograph, or package design when needed. As stated in the previous slide, the rule of thirds is known as the lazy golden ratio. And though I have seen this remark throughout my research, there is speculation that this in fact is not true, so we just may never know. Here's some photographs showing the rule of thirds. As you can see, it just makes the photographs much more interesting and much more appealing to the eye. So my final conclusions. After extensive research of packaging all over the world, my hypothesis has been proved correct. The rule of thirds has withstood time and is still used in packaging and images all over the world. Although I only showed 50 examples, about 25% of the 3,000 plus products I went through on the Mintel database used the rule of thirds technique. I just didn't show all of them in this PowerPoint. All of my examples have proved this and show that not only is the technique used in countries across both hemispheres, but there is also not a specific category of packaging which it is still used. All different brands and all different types of products still use this design theory in all different packaging designs. So in a summary, the rule of thirds is a design technique used in packaging today as well as photography and art. This technique derives from the Fibonacci sequence dating back to ancient times. Though not all packaging and design uses this rule, it is still very common today. Thank you.